Well, good evening, everybody. I hope the sound is okay. The Buddha image is looking nice and large there. That's great. I'll give it a few more moments before other folks turn up. Good to see some familiar names. Good to see plenty of people I don't think I've met before. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Society. And if you haven't been to the class, that's just great. I've just got to admit, been let in, good. So yeah, people are sort of popping in, that's jolly good. I'd like to welcome you to the class. It's called the Basic Meditation class. The only thing I object to about the title is you get the wrong idea what basic's all about. You know, you think it's for the total beginners. Well, which of course it is for the total beginners, but it's also for all those people, and I'm one of them, who's been coming to it for quite a long time, actually. So, I mean, I certainly, when you talk about the basic meditation class, for me, basic means absolutely fundamental, absolutely fundamental. And, you know, I've been on the scene for a while, and I know a bit about other Buddhist traditions, my own. And they all do what we're going to do tonight. I mean, maybe they do other things besides, bells and whistles besides, you know. But the basics, actually, folks, are, you know, what's on tonight, actually. So, yeah, very good. And then what we're going to do in the class tonight, I will, first of all, I'm still fiddling around trying to get things like, yes, that's up there. I'm mastering the technology. Yeah, so what we'll do tonight is, first of all, just sort of housekeeping stuff. I hope the sound is okay. But if not, please get a message through to me in the chat box. And that's the whole point. There's a chat box open there. And there'll be certainly an opportunity for questions and discussion at the end. I promise you, whatever else happens, there'll be that. And if you want at any time to ask any questions or make any comments as we go along, please send them through in the chat box. At the end, everybody will be unmuted so we can have a sort of a normal conversation. So that's that. What's the agenda? Well, the agenda time-wise is I'll give a bit of a bit of help, some tips, and all the tips I give are based on my own practice, experience, mistakes. So I'll give a few tips, a bit of guidance in the first session, 20 minutes or so. And then take a little break, perhaps, and then sit again. And then at the end, I don't know, in about an hour's time, maybe, we'll have a discussion. And obviously, it's in the nature of all Zoom meetings that if anybody wants to escape before the end, it's very easy to do it, and I won't mind at all. No, that's very good. So I wonder, okay, because there's maybe some folks here and they're coming in still. If you're still coming in, you are just as welcome as you would be if you've been here 10 minutes ago. Because I haven't really said anything remotely important at all. But yes, a little bit of theory, tiny bit of theory, which is relevant to tonight. And that is in Buddhism, we talk about the mind and we talk about the contents of the mind. There's the contents of the mind and the mind. And you know, I'm just saying this is basic meditation, whatever your tradition, pretty much. Actually, there would have been a Tibetan Buddhism class tonight, but for whatever reason, it's been cancelled. And maybe some of the Tibetis have turned up tonight, in which case a big hello. But in Tibet, if you look at the online notice about Tibetan Buddhist, the Thursday Tibetan Buddhist class, they talk exactly about exploring the mind and the contents of the mind. This is deep down. This is what this really is all about, as well as being, mindfulness and all that. Mindfulness is the way, perhaps, to explore the mind and the contents of the mind. A bit of guidance to this practice. And I've been giving anybody who listens to me a bit of, if you like, homework. I've been saying every day, if you can do it, find a time, how long, 15 minutes or whatever, just go down, sit in your room, sit down, and just see what happens. Just sit and see what happens. And in my book, that's mindfulness meditation. Sit down, see what happens. Maybe see what happens with the eyes closed. See what happens with the eyes closed. And a great attitude to bring to a period of meditation here or at home or while you're waiting for the tube, for that matter. A great attitude is one of open-minded curiosity. Open-minded curiosity, that's why beginners, genuine beginners actually have a huge advantage. Because if we're not a beginner, we kind of know it all. We've got all sorts of preconceptions and plans and God knows what. But open-minded curiosity, just alertness, awareness, relaxed awareness, open-minded curiosity. Just sit here and see what happens. And another a quote, sort of a quote, if I can remember it properly, from somebody, as far as I know, wasn't a Buddhist at all, Christopher Isherwood. And he wrote a book way back called Goodbye to Berlin. And it begins with this very sort of memorable sentence, which I may have imperfectly remembered. But it says something like this: I am a camera with its shutter wide open, quite passive, recording, not thinking. So again, I'm a camera with its shutter wide open, quite passive, recording, not thinking. Now we can sort of say, well, they're not thinking, but I would say my camera's wide open and it's aware of thinking as well as everything else, actually. But that attitude of, we're just sitting here, sitting and seeing what happens. With no judgment or anything like that. Curiosity. So it's an alert, relaxed, stable, noticing, noting sort of practice. That's it. That's the essence of it. And frankly, if you've been doing this mindfulness practice or whatever you want to call it for a while, you're doing it right, and you don't need any of the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you over the next few minutes. And you know what to do about it. You can just notice hearing and leave them at the sense doors, as it were, and bring the attention back to whatever meditation object you use, if you use one. The essence of this practice then is noticing what's going on without getting caught up in it. Okay, without getting caught up in it. We truly notice what's going on. We don't deny it, but we don't, we learn to let go of it. In Buddhism, they make a big deal of letting go, not attaching to it. And I was up at Amravati last Saturday doing a meditation event up there, and I just said to the folks there, suppose you came in and some monk with a rather strange sense of humor had put a drawing pin on your cushion or whatever you were sitting on. You'd notice that when you sat down, wouldn't you? You'd notice that. A true, painful, a very painful sensation, and you'd be surprised. And then what happens next? What happens next? Notice how you can make a mental drama out of it. Blaming, they shouldn't do this in a Buddhist monastery. Why did I come here? Why wasn't I more careful what I sat on? Blah, 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 blah. Will I get blood poisoning? All this kind of nonsense. And the trick in if we're being really mindful is just to notice that pain and bring the attention back to it. Now, that's a good illustration of how simple this practice is, but how difficult this practice is. Notice and see what happens and leave it alone after that. Alert, relaxed posture. Alert posture, excuse me, an alert posture, because that helps noticing. This is not a real challenge for all of us. You know, here we are at 20 to 7 or whatever time it is this evening, and end of the day, towards the end of the day, I'm probably feeling a bit tired. So an alert posture is very helpful. An upright posture. An upright posture. I could say more about posture if you want at some stage, but if you just find an alert, upright, stable posture, a posture where I'm just fidgeting now. Yeah, I get there. I could sit like this for a few minutes. Yeah, it's alert and it's stable and it's upright. And then also relaxed, you see, as well. Well, relax, because that supports the non-attaching, the letting go. Now, if we cling on to anything, I mean, something completely innocuous. I don't know, I've got a tissue over here. If I hold my hand, if it's my hand, there's no relaxation there, is there? I'm clinging to it. I let go of it. There it goes. Relax, let go. Now, this is a real skill to develop, because everybody, you know, we all notice the pain from sitting on that drawing pin. But can we let go of all the mental stuff that follows from it? That's the difficult bit. That's the difficult bit. So this is a practice in which we're learning both to notice and to let go. Okay, to notice and let go. And a body scan, bringing attention to the body initially is a great thing to do. For me, at the start of a period of meditation, we can note the body, set up the body in an alert posture, and then we can scan the body. And if we want to, we can take this opportunity to relax. I find it very difficult to relax the body if I don't know it's tense to begin with. You know, how do I know if my shoulders are relaxed or tense? I've got to bring my attention to it. Bring my attention. How are the shoulders this evening? Are they up around my ears? Let go, relax. I can relax. So let's bring the attention into the body. Oh, I haven't said vital incidentals, like what do we do with the hands? Park them somewhere, just out of the way, because we can fidget a lot with the hands. That's a very habitual fidgeting. And actually what we're doing from the point of view of mindfulness practice is learning to let go of habits, actually. No reason why we should be sort of fidgeting unnecessarily, you know. No need for us to sort of pick up our phone while we're here this evening. Yeah, just notice that impetus. Did I get a text? You don't notice that and let go. So park the hands somewhere out of the way. Park the hands out of the way. Mine are on my lap, one hand on the other, but you can make a beautiful sort of mudra gesture. Or if you've got pockets or something, put your hands in your pockets. What about the eyes? I suggest either completely closed. I tend to do it with my eyes completely closed or half closed. And the idea is just turning the attention inwards. That's all. How's the body feel? And we just tune in to literally how the body feels. And we let go of this habitual tendency to evaluate the body, you know, too old, too tired, you know, whatever, all this critical stuff about the body or the opinions about the body. We're not interested in that. That's something to let go of for the moment. You know, we sort of obsess about how we look and stuff during the day. You want to look neat and tidy, particularly if you're working. Okay, fit in with a gang. That's fine, you know, but not tonight. Yeah, if you're worried about how you look, switch your camera off, actually. It doesn't really matter, okay? Just how do you feel? How does the body feel? And be aware of the warmth of the body. You know, the warmth of the body. You got a sweater on, you feel warm. If the room is warm, the face, the skin on the face feels warm. Be aware of the weight of the body. We're sitting here. You feel, gosh, we're all sitting on something. It's not a drawing pin. It's backside against cushion or chair or whatever we're sitting on. Just notice that feeling of heaviness. Feet are touching something. Hands are touching something. And the body, even though we're sitting by conventional standards still, body's moving, isn't it? A little sway perhaps. And of course, as we breathe in and out, you can feel the rib cage expanding and contracting, the abdomen going up and down. You can feel saliva in the mouth. And I've cunningly sneaked in a bit more of basic Buddhism. Earth, fire, air, water, the four elements. Earth, heaviness, weightiness, mass, contact. Fire, temperature, hot or cold. Air, movement. Water, liquid stuff. Saliva, for example. Why don't we just sweep the attention through the body? Just bringing attention to sensations. Not opinions, but sensations. And let's go from bottom to top. Feet. You know, if you're sitting on a chair, your feet are on the floor, I guess. Soles of the left foot, soles of the right foot. Rest of the foot. And just bring the attention up the knee, up the legs. Left leg, right leg. Calves and shins. Across the knees. Now, if you're kneeling on the floor, bit of a stretch maybe, just notice that. Notice that. Upper legs, thighs, into those hips. Hope our hips are okay tonight. I just notice a sensation in the hips. Feeling of sitting. Oh, yeah, heaviness there. Pelvic area. Belly. All the organs in the belly. Digestive sensations, the pressure of the waistband as we breathe in and out. Up the trunk of the body. Just check out the sides of the body and the back. Now we're at it. So going up the spine, small of the back, maybe tuck it in. It opens up the chest. Up to the top. Feel those shoulder blades. Then go down to the front of the body, pelvic area. It's the belly there. And bringing the attention up, 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 into the chest. Feel the rib cage expanding, contracting as we breathe in and out. That's the touch of our clothing, isn't it? Just notice the touch of our clothing. Picking up, if we can, the pulse, the heartbeat. And notice the habit we might have probably of commenting on it. The heartbeat we've got right now is perfect. And if we've heard that during a period of meditation, the pulse slows down. Does it or doesn't it? You tell me at the end of a period of meditation. I've no idea. Whatever the heartbeat does, the important thing is it's still there doing its stuff. Top of the chest, across the collarbone, the front. Checking out the arms, the left arm and the right arm. Armpits, often ignore them, but there's a sensation of some sort there. Down the arms, upper arm. Down the elbows. The outside of the elbows, the funny bone area and the inside area. down the forearms, down the wrists, hands, those sensitive hands. They're touching something. Put the attention in the palm of the left hand, the palm of the right hand. Fingers. Any sensations around the fingernails? It's getting a bit interesting, isn't it? Up the arms, the shoulders, collarbone. Now just bring attention to the shoulders and relax them if we want to. If we notice any tension, breathe out, relax, let go. Sensations in the neck and the throat and the jaw. It doesn't have to be clamped shut, you know. The mouth can be closed and we notice the lips touching, and we notice saliva in the mouth, the tongue touching the teeth or whatever it's doing. But the jaw needn't be clamped shut. If it's a bit tense and tight, just be aware of that. Sensations in the face, breath on the nostrils, eyes. The eyes are open. Notice the feeling of seeing. The feeling of seeing, because the light sort of pings in. Those photons ping in. You notice that. The eyes are closed. Notice the feeling of the eyelids touching each other. Sensations in the forehead. Be aware if we are, notice if we are trying too hard to get something. You know, if we're trying to master meditation or become fully enlightened by 7:15, or we're striving for peace of mind, just be aware of all that effort. Let go. If you want to, let go. Relax. Sensations around the ears, into the scalp. Any sensations? No sensations. Whatever. Top of the head. Anything there or nothing there? It's interesting to be aware of no sensation, actually, isn't it? How interesting. I'm paying attention to the feeling of nothing. That's good practice. How is the mood tonight? The mood, the mind. How's the mind tonight? Bright, down, happy, full of beans. And be aware of current thinking, patterns of thinking. I mean, we've brought our body into the room and we've sat down, and it's an absolutely perfect body for practicing mindfulness. And we've done the same thing with the mind as well. How's the mind? Just be aware of it. Upbeat, downbeat, happy as Larry. It's like this, isn't it? Just like this. Notice any emotional stuff. It's interesting. Just patterns of thinking. And the practice is just this. Noticing what's going on. We come into this room, we sat down, and seeing what happens in terms of sensations of the body or sensations and movements of the mind. We're just noticing, but not attaching. And that's very difficult to do. It's such a simple practice. It's difficult to do, and that's why we often use a meditation object, like the breath, like a mantra, like the sound of silent mind, like whatever. An anchor, a stabilizer. Some place we can, to which we can point the attention. This is clever practice because we can pay attention to the attention. When the attention wanders somewhere, has it gone to what happened? You know, the attention can wander back to a memory of what happened earlier today. The attention can head off into the future, to our plans for tomorrow. Or we can start just thinking about Buddhism or thinking about meditation and all the rest of it. And it's very easy to get trapped in all of that, isn't it? Spend the whole evening essentially time traveling, fantasizing, planning. It's stressful to do that. You notice we get trapped in these cycles. I think it's very appealing. It's very attractive. Pretty exhausting, actually. So the neat thing is to learn how to let go. And that's where the meditation object comes into play. Because when we notice that the mind has wandered, you just note wandering mind, thinking, planning. Just deliberately note it and then point the attention back to the breath, if that's our meditation object. Pay attention to the attention. Point the attention then back to the meditation object. When we do that, we have let go of what the mind was up to before. Aha! This is the clue to letting go. We have a meditation object and we have a choice. Do we let the monkey mind swing all over the place? Which is all right. Could be a bit tiring. Or do we let go of that by pointing the attention back to very peaceful, potentially a very peaceful meditation object? The in-breath and the out-breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And if it helps, you can make a little mental note. In. Where do we notice the breath? Wherever you notice the breath. In the belly, around the nostrils. That's my little anchor. And the mind will wander because the breath is, we get into it, the breath is incredibly peaceful and tranquilizing. But it's not stimulating, and the monkey mind likes stimulus, isn't it? So the monkey mind, that aspect of our attention, will go traveling to anything, frankly. And the practice is in a very friendly way to observe that, to notice that. So we go again. What do? We don't beat ourselves up. There's no judgment involved. It's nature study, this practice. You notice what the mind is up to and you point the attention quite deliberately. That's just the effort, the bit that involves effort. We point the attention back to the next in-breath, the next out-breath. The feeling, crude, simple sensation of the touch of the breath on the nostrils as it breathes in and out. During a period of meditation, there'll be sensations in the body, feelings, sounds, lots of thinking. It's all the same. These are mental contents coming into the mind, and as long as we don't mess with them, leaving the mind, coming and going. You hear a sound, you notice hearing. Point the attention back to the breath. If you find yourself looking around the room, you notice seeing. Let go of that, point the attention back to the breath. You notice a sensation in the body, assuming it's just a nothing special sensation. You don't need to do anything about it because it's too painful. You notice feeling, itching, whatever, stretching. Point the attention back to the breath. If you've lit a stick of incense, you notice the fragrance of the incense, and you point the attention back to the breath. Just notice the rhythm of the breath. Each breath has a beginning and an end. In fact, each in-breath has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And each out breath has a beginning and a middle and an end. Just let the attention rest on this continuous rhythm. Breathing in, breathing out. So do take this opportunity, please, to stretch if you need to. So I started off by saying that in Buddhist theory, as it were, there's the mind and the contents of the mind. And what we've been doing in the last few minutes is noticing, noting, being aware of the contents of the mind. We're experiencing the world through our six senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, touching, they say, and all the mental stuff, thinking, and all of that. All of that. All interplaying, one thing leads to another thing. We all know that. It's very complicated. There's a lot going on. If anybody's just sort of zoomed in out of the blue to this meditation class, and they just looked around it, they'd sort of see 23 people, some with the cameras on, 23 people just sitting here apparently doing nothing. But there's a lot going on, isn't there? Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking. One thing after the other, all sort of interconnected, the way something in the body affects the way we think. Something in the way we think affects the way the body feels. Remember, you've got a job to do. Before we go to bed, the body tenses up probably, get a bit of anxiety. You're not going to do it. If the body starts, stomach feels a bit iffy during a period of meditation, you notice, oh, what am I going to do about that? So all this is going on in the mind, isn't it? It's all happening. All this sensory stuff, very complicated stuff. And everything's changing, actually, isn't it? Everything's changing. I mean, including the mood. I mean, it's a really neat idea, I think, at the end of a period of meditation, just to check everything out, as we did at the beginning in particular. How's the mood? Have we changed the mood? Because you can come in one mood and come out in another, or the intensity of the mood can change. Where's all this going on then? Where's it all happening? I mean, one answer is, well, it's going on in my study, it's going on in your home, wherever you are, all this hyperactivity. But another way of looking at it is, it's all in the mind. It's all going on in the mind, isn't it? That's how we experience the world, actually. We experience the world through our physical senses and all the neural stuff going on up here. Right? But we're aware of it, we're conscious of it in the mind. And that's true. And when you see something, you don't get colored particles or whatever coming in. You get, I think they're called photons or something, or sound waves going in through the ears or whatever. There's an incredibly complex, high speed, very rapid, instantaneous translation of this physical input into electrical impulses, for example, and then that's then processed in the brain, and out comes whatever it comes out in consciousness, a particular color of whatever shirt, or a particular sound. Oh, that's music, and that's Mozart, that sort of thing. It's all happening in the mind, isn't it? It's all in the mind. When people say it's all in the mind, that tends to be a bit of a put down, So he's got this idea in his head, this, that, and the other. It's all in his mind. That's a put down. But it's not the way I'm using it. It's all in the mind. That's where it's happening. So there's the mind, this knowing quality, this awareness, this knowing. We'll call it consciousness, if you like. And then there's the object of awareness, of knowing. That's the contents of the mind. And just as in a period of mindfulness practice, we're aware of all the comings and goings of our sensory experience. We notice that. We notice our habitual patterns of thinking, don't we? It's like one of my favorite phrases to myself is, there I go again. You just acknowledging the way we're set up, we're programmed to behave in a habitual way. But that's something we notice, and we can maybe let go of that, putting the attention back on the meditation object. There's all that going on, and we're understanding, we're learning about what the contents of the mind, our experience of the world around us is like. It comes and it goes, doesn't it? We notice that. And where's all that happening? It's all in the mind. We know it. We're conscious of it. And what's the mind like then? It's all embracing. It's open. I started off by saying it's great to have an open mind in this practice. That's a useful beginning to a period of practice. And that's, if you like, the goal of practice, isn't it? To experience that open, unlimited, empty mind. Potentially it's empty. And then we just insist on habitually filling it up with all kinds of stuff. Open, empty, unlimited, completely impersonal. One's sense of self is yet another creation that one puts into the mind. And I'm hinting at the difference, I think, between, if you like, secular mindfulness practice, which is all about, working with the contents of the mind, and nothing wrong with that at all. If we can learn how to let go of these sometimes unhappy experiences, that's freedom from suffering of a particular sort, isn't it? It is. But that's, if you like, understanding of the contents of the mind. Yes, it is. But also we're beginning to sort of get a feel for the nature of the mind itself. So, it's like maybe there's a gradual shift in our perspective of a way of looking at things from awareness of sights and sounds and smells and tastes and touches, physical sensations and thoughts and emotions and all the rest of it, awareness of that towards just awareness itself. Just awareness itself. Okay. That's enough words for the moment. Let's go back and do a bit of meditation. I just remind you that questions and comments are very welcome indeed. Nobody sent anything through in the chat box yet, which is okay by me too. But if you want to send a message through, please do. But now we're going to sit for a little while, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And apart from just reminding ourselves to get a nice, stable, alert, relaxed posture, being aware of how the mind is at the moment, all the mental activities going on. Oh yeah, it looks like this. And it's all going on in the mind. That's the world of our experience. Picking up the meditation object, another sensation. Tuning into the rhythm of the breath, if that's what we use. In breath, out breath. And when the mind wanders, as it will, that's fine. That's what the monkey mind does, but just don't let it wander too far. Note it, put a little label on it if it helps. Thinking, imagining, fantasizing, worrying, and then point the attention back to our anchor, our meditation object. Just relaxing into the breath. And just following each breath. Not by hanging on to it, nailing our attention to it. But it's the default, if you like, it's the default position for the attention. You let go of everything else for a millisecond and let the rhythm of the breath be as it is, and we relax into it. seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, all the mental activity, all in the mind. So, just before the class began, I realized that today was International Happiness Day. So, hope you've all had a happy day. And I hope you have a happy evening. And I'd like to suggest, if you want to make sure you have a goodish night's sleep, to do a bit of pre-bedtime meditation. We could bring to mind everything in our lives we're grateful for. Bring to mind everything we're thankful for. You can even, all the good things that happened today. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is, just all the good stuff we're grateful for. That's a good thing to do. And you could even send a bit of metta, a bit of loving kindness to yourself and to all the people you feel really good about, the people to whom you feel gratitude, actually. Wish them good stuff. And generally spread it around in your mind throughout the whole world, if you like. And on the subject of gratitude and happiness, next week, which is the last Thursday of the month, we have Ajahn Barry Subhaddo, our friend Ajahn Barry Subhaddo, back to lead the class. And I'm very grateful for him kind of volunteering to come back. So I hope everybody here will come along as well. Now, discussion time. Nothing's come through in the chat box yet. I think that everybody can, I hope you're there, Wongdu, everybody can unmute if you want to have a sort of a normal conversation. or just send us a message through in the chat box and I'll try and pick it up. Any questions, any comments, is anybody having any problems with the practice at all? Anything you like?
Hello, Colin.
Oh yeah, hi Meg.
Hello, it's partly a question, but mainly a kind of observation, talking of gratitude, that I noticed today that I felt really, really grateful for my right knee. And this is because a few years ago, I tore the cartilage in my left knee, and it's a bit weird in certain positions. And I was just sitting with my right knee a certain way, and I thought, this knee is absolutely perfect. But it was like something had to go wrong for me to be grateful for. It's about taking things for granted.
Yeah. No, I can really empathize with that, as we get older, and I'm speaking from experience, you have to do more sort of maintenance. I don't mean on the house, I mean ourselves, to keep in good shape. And things go wrong. I heard the word cartilage. There's nothing you can tell me about cartilage problems. And when the old knee is feeling a bit better because it's done some serious physio, for example, if you like you, I sort of think it's okay. I don't have any romantic thoughts about the body getting any better as you get older. But it's pretty good that it holds up. You're grateful for that. It's good. That the cessation of suffering is something we can enjoy, believe it or not. So that's good, of course. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Good evening, Colin.
Good to see you. Yeah, sure. You're back in the fold, huh?
Well, sort of. How to say that is one of the advantages of having Parkinson's, as I have. You can blame every illness on Parkinson's. I get up with an aching knee. As far as I'm concerned, that's Parkinson's problem, not mine.
Okay.
And carry on with life. It allows you to carry on, with other things. I wanted to comment, if I may, first of all, thank you very much for guiding us through the session. It was very good, very helpful. On meditation, from the time that I sort of began to take a spiritual interest in myself, meditation seems to have become a central a center point, a pivotal point of it. And within meditation, breathing. And I always associated breathing and meditation as two sort of siblings, almost. That you must know how to be able to breathe well if you want to meditate well. You don't seem to have put so much emphasis on the breathing aspects. Am I right?
Oh, I thought we used mindfulness of breath as the meditation object this evening.
Yeah, I see.
Well, no, okay. I think I know where you're going with all of this. I've tried yoga, right? And I'm all for yoga. And part of yoga is pranayama, where one breathes in a particular way. Yeah. And that's fine. It's just that when one is doing this mindfulness practice, the next breath, whatever it's like, is good enough. And one notices in this practice, I find, that when you bring attention to the breath, often we do want to control it. You want to control it. We have as I say, we have an idea of, I guess that as we sit meditation, everything slows down and the breath becomes deeper or quieter or something. And it's like, sort of think, yeah, I like a bit of that, whatever it is. And that becomes a bit more attachment. And it's like, if the breathing is nice and easy, that's great. But the thing about the breath is it's kind of there all the time until life ends, So it's always there, even if you're sort of huffing and puffing. And, the breath's there. One could bring the attention to it, I guess. So it's not really about controlling the breath. I mean, I'm sure there are meditation practices involved I know there are meditation practices around, using the breath in a different way. Yes, there are.
Yes, I mean, the most popular of it is breathing in of good air and breathing out of bad.
Yeah. You can absolutely. One can certainly, if you like, visualize the breath. And when I'm doing metta practice, loving kindness practice, I personally find it quite helpful, as you're suggesting, on the in-breath to, if you like, I'm not very good at visualizing myself, but to imagine white light is coming in and one's wishing oneself well. And on the out-breath, one's letting go of any negativity, or breathing out thoughts of goodwill, wishing goodwill to other people. And you can certainly link that to the breath. Yes, of course. Yeah. If that helps, do it. Absolutely. May I be well. May others be well. Breathing in, breathing out. It's still the ordinary breath. But you're making it more the focus of your loving kindness practice. Why not? If it works, Yasha, do it. Okay.
Everything works, that's for sure.
That's all right. Thanks for that. Let me pick up a question that's just come through. Right. Okay. Good question. If the thoughts and emotions are stronger than the object, I guess that means your object of meditation, is it okay to watch the thoughts and emotions? You don't have much choice, really. If you got strong, I'm sitting here, blissed out, there's my breath going in, breath going out. Man, this emotion comes into my head. It's like, I don't even want to go there and invent stuff, but some strong feeling emotion, some terrible thing has come into my head. Maybe something happened in the past, or the boss is after me, or I can't pay the electricity bill. Or I don't know what it is, but it comes into your head. And it's like, it dominates, it really does. And so all I would, and that's quite understandable. That is not a fault. This is the way we're set up to work. So it's like, from my point of view, the practice would be being aware of it, first of all. There we go. It feels like this. And notice I'm using the word feel. These strong emotions, these strong thoughts and emotions resonate in the body. So I personally, this is just me again, I personally find it very helpful, in a sense, get the attention out of the head into the body. That's why you do all this body scanning practice, because I tune in then to how the body feels, so that when anger comes along into the mind, or anxiety comes along into the mind, you can sort of feel it in the body. Anger, yeah. Anger is, I'm warming up and I'm getting tense and I'm clenching my fists. Okay. Anxiety is butterflies in the stomach. You know, oh, yeah, I noticed that. And personally, I find it easier to work with these physical correlates of these emotional states than to tackle the emotional states head on. I mean, I remember that I'm sure I've told this little story in the class before, but way back, I found myself massively overcommitted. You know, you say you're crazy, you do all this stuff, and you can't deliver, And so I'd sit in meditation, and all this stuff would be going through my head. Well, I'm going to do this, I can't do it. And I found it very helpful to notice that anxiety was a physical sensation. It is butterflies in the stomach, it's acidity in the stomach, and it doesn't feel good. But I can sit with acidity in the stomach. I can sit with that discomfort. And notice what I'm doing. I'm deliberately directing the attention away from trying to solve a problem that probably doesn't have any solution to the feelings in the guts. And I was all right, I could sit with that. Now, let's be clear, I think I got a stomach ulcer while I was doing it. But that's okay. That's just a pain, discomfort. A lot easier to do something about that than meeting these impossible deadlines, you know. So that's a way I'd sort of suggest doing it. I mean, you've got to. What I like about what you're bringing up is you know, it's like when heavy stuff comes up, deal with the heavy stuff. You don't have any choice. You don't have any choice. Or you can adopt a different meditation approach altogether. So if the stuff that comes into the mind, the emotional stuff, is of a very negative nature, then the suggestion is to use, say, metta practice or compassion practice, including to oneself, as the antidote. You know, try that. It really does depend on you know what's going on in the mind. I mean, another one is depression. You get very down, very depressed, and there again, this is all about this habitual interplay of what's going on in the body and the mind. So you have a very negative thought, and that manifests. It's like you feel really, really heavy, and you want to stay under the duvet. It's that sort of thing. And very dark. And then that feeling of heaviness also triggers off some other thoughts. I shouldn't be doing this. This is even worse. And you get into this pit. You're digging a bigger and bigger hole. Okay, so focus just on the physical side of it. You know, yeah, you can sit perfectly well with something like depression if you just focus on the body. The body feels like this. Oh, it feels like, no, you might want to do a supplementary practice as well, like sending yourself loads of loving kindness. And you might want to go and see a doctor. There's no help as well. This is not instead of, this is as well as, you know. So this is the way I'd encourage us all to sort of practice, actually. The meditation object, the breath, is a very, very refined object. It's totally non-stimulating. And that's, you know, because it's not stimulating, it's peaceful. You know, it's peaceful. And we all, you know, enjoy peace of mind, actually. Nothing much is going on except the breath. It's really blissful, you see. But because it's not stimulating, the attention will go off on all sorts of your thoughts and emotions. It will do. Well, that's okay. And I suggested a few ideas about how to handle that sort of thing, how to respond to it. I hope that helps a bit. Any follow-up comments, Julie, or anybody else want to chip in? Or anything else at all? How are we doing?
I think that's really helpful with this. I'll try that going into the body.
Yeah.
Because when the emotion and the dialogue start combining together, there's too much going on to focus on the breath. But if I drop down into the body, then that would be interesting on focusing on where it is in the body rather than just being in my forehead area or the brain. So I think that's really helpful. Thank you.
Here's another suggestion, by the way. Try walking meditation. When you're doing walking meditation, the attention is on the feeling of walking, specifically on the soles of the feet as we toddle along, and it's physical, right? So that's another practice in which the attention is brought out of what's going on into the head, into the soles of the feet. It doesn't mean there are going to be instances where you're walking along and suddenly the mind will wander to all this stuff that's going on in your head. But but you bring the attention back to this very deliberate physical walking along. It's like people sort of say, I was pacing around like a caged lion. No, they were doing a physical sort of, the emotional stuff was translated into this physical activity. I'd call that walking meditation. And you're directing the attention deliberately away for a second or two towards this physical sensation. You're gradually loosening this habitual pattern of getting caught up in these emotions and thoughts. So try that. You can try walking meditation, or actually any physical activity at all. Maybe yoga is the answer. Physical stuff. Yeah, good.
I shall do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other thoughts or stuff? Anybody can unmute if you want to, I think. However, if not, we'll sort of bring things to a close. I want to thank you very much for coming. Do come back next week. Ajahn Barry will be here. Spread the word. I don't know whether anybody here, because he was during February when I was kind of away. Ajahn Barry actually turned up in London. He lives in Spain, but he was visiting family, I guess, in London. And he actually taught a couple of these classes from the Buddhist Society, hybrid as well. So that was quite nice. But now I think I haven't been in touch with him for a couple of weeks. So now he's back in Spain, and I'm looking forward to him zooming in a week's time. Meanwhile, don't forget to, for 15 minutes minimum every day, go into a room, sit down, see what happens. And this evening, because it's World Happiness Day, make yourselves happy. Okay, think about all the good stuff today, and don't forget one of the good things you can bring to mind is like we actually made the effort to get together and meet in this class. Oh, great! Well done, everybody. Pat on the back. See you next week. Take care. Bye bye.